All right, so I'm going to do something different this week. This is something I've been thinking about live streaming, but live streaming schedules don't always work out. So I figured I might just do a mini series, a mini, I don't know, show on how to build an automation from scratch, set up all the back end stuff you got to do, actually get this one moving and flowing and sell it to a business all from scratch, starting from zero. Okay, so this is going to be a full episode, a full series on how to start from zero and get your first automation client. So I'm going to do some very minimal editing of this whole thing. I think just the live build and the raw footage of me doing this from scratch is going to be a lot more beneficial. Plus, it helps me out just to talk through things and work through things, and you guys will get to see all of that process inside of what I actually do when I'm building stuff. So let's get started. I have a couple ideas, and like I said, minimal editing of these videos, but I will edit out some blank spaces if I have to get up, take a break. You guys don't need to see all the complete raw unedited footage, but I will be talking through and showing you a lot of my thought processes here. So I'm gonna jump into my school community. It's called Digital Automation Diagram, and I put out a couple lists. This one right here, top industries paying for AI automation. I'm gonna grab this download PDF. And I've got another list somewhere down here. I think it's over here. This one is top revenue generating AI automations for agencies. So simple list, this is 10 top revenue generating automations. So between these two lists, I'm going to choose all of these automations that need to get built starting from zero and get a business started. So let's jump into it. I'm going to grab that PDF. All right, so the top industries paying for AI automation in 2025, we've got coaching and consulting, recruiting, staffing. I did a short video on this. If you want to take a look at that, I won't go through everything here, but I think I'll just pick a business from this list. Maybe this one right here. Real estate is a great one for this area that I live. Yeah, so let's just grab a couple of these. I want to copy and paste these, just what I have here from this list. Copy it, paste it into ChatGPT, just straight in there. And then the other one I might want to tackle is probably coaching and consulting. Grab that and copy it in here as well. It's basically just getting context in here. I'm not really worried about an output from ChatGPT yet. I accidentally hit enter on the keyboard and sent those off. So I'm just going to get those in here and say, reread everything I pasted in. These are businesses and potential automations I can make. So what I do with ChatGPT, I just start off these very high-level conversations, building out a plan, building out a whole key core focus for what I need to be doing, right? So coaching and consulting, education, online courses, and real estate agencies. We've got all that context building up in chat now. So I'm gonna continue on with this long conversation. This is my tried and true workflow to plan out what I'm gonna be building. So I'll say things like, I live in Scottsdale, narrowing these down to a local level first, seeing if there is some interactions I can have here with these businesses on a local level. So I live in Scottsdale, AZ. Can you tell me which of these might be the most profitable avenue to venture down for a local interaction? I want you to look up this info and tell me if these markets are hot and which one is the best. I don't have the proper business language for this kind of stuff. I just have these conversational, chats with ChatGPT to get my point across, get context, and get stuff back that I can actually use. So you really can start from zero as long as you know how to ask questions to ChatGPT. All right, so we got some information. Real estate is highly active and lucrative. Life coaches, career coaches, all that kind of stuff. I want to make the best choice on where to devote my time. Which industry do you think I could more easily sell automation to? Okay, and again, we get response back, real estate agencies, reasons it could be easy, possible challenges, coaching and consulting, possible challenges, take longer to earn their trust. Course creators are very open to automation. Yeah, just scanning through this stuff. So reason to recommendation is going to be real estate agencies. That is expected for this area. So I got a couple ideas here. I think maybe I'll just do all three. That's my first idea. But let's start somewhere. Let's start with one of these. I think both real estate and coaching, their biggest pain point is going to be leads, right? That's just pretty easy guess there, but I'll type in analyze the biggest pain points real estate agencies and coaches have. Make this a detailed and exhaustive list. Real estate agencies, pain points, lead generation, client communication and nurturing, appointment scheduling and showings. See, I might do some of these easier ones for real estate agent and then do the more difficult ones for coaches. Just brainstorming, just thinking aloud, but you can see how quickly you can build out a really interesting ideation of a plan here. So coaches and consultants, lead generation, qualification, onboarding, client setup, scheduling and calendars, content repurposing for coaches. Might be an interesting one there. So I like this list. Now it's just a matter of deciding, tackling one of these. Great. So just scanning through this, kind of brainstorming a little bit more. I think I have a good idea of where I want to start. Basically, I need to find real estate agents and coaches first. And essentially, I need to build myself an automation to get my own leads acquired here. So that's probably something I can build right away. And that could lead into the lead generation machine for my actual clients I can sell, right? I'll just build the one that I use to find them and then sell it. So we got a good list here. I think I'm gonna save this list. What I like to do is create PDFs to save for later. Just got a big bank of PDFs I can pull from to save, if nothing else, save them as a prompt starter for ChatGPT. So the way I like to do that, let's create a new Google Doc and export that PDF. Cool. Now we can jump into a new chat in ChatGPT. Basically paste in that entire doc and say, this is what I'm working on. I always like to put a little dash just to say this is where my prompt is actually starting. Now to give some context, or this paste in is just to give some context, right? So now I can actually build out a plan for what I need. I want to build a step-by-step guide and build plan to create an automation in N8N that will scrape leads from Google Maps or other sources and keep them in a CRM I build in Airtable. Let's say, here's some meta prompting. Can you write me a prompt that will help me generate a build guide? Okay, so we're going to meta prompt ChatGPT to create a prompt that it could then use to create the build guide. Okay, advanced prompt engineering. We need to create a prompt that will get the job done. So here's the prompt. I want you to help me design and document an end-to-end automation workflow using N8N. Here's the context and goal. We could read through that. Scraped leads will include at least business name, phone number, website, available email, avoid duplicates. I like that. View and manage leads in Airtable. Later trigger outreach for nurturing. That's great. Tasks and workflow steps. So this is the workflow build here. Webhook deduplication, insert into Airtable, error handling, extensions we could add in, constraints, requirements. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So let's say, is this the best way to write this prompt? Is there anything we can add? Those are the two magic lines. I tell people this all the time. If I teach you nothing else, those two magic lines, is this the best way to blank? Is this the best way to do something? Is there anything else we can add? Is going to give you the best results for anything you could ever prompt. So here's an improved version, right? We got new stuff in here. Let's see what we changed up. Visual diagrams and workflow charts. We don't really need that. Authentication and API credentials. We could probably take a stab at that on my own. If you're new to N8N, having help through authentication and API stuff, that is huge for you. So I'll say I want node level detail. I want node level detail, but everything else can be left out. I want to focus on the highest level prompt that will output a polished guide. Cool. So here is the prompt. Now we can simply say, take in this prompt and create the guide. Automation build guide, scrape leads and store in Airtable. This guide will walk you through building an N8N automation that scrapes business leads from Google Maps and Apify or similar sources, inserts them into an Airtable CRM. Here's what we need. Great Airtable setup, N8N workflow steps. This looks pretty good. Now I'm going to use those two magic lines again and add a third one. Is this the best way to write this guide? Is there anything we can add? Can you write it in the canvas? You have to be on ChatGPT 4.0 at least to use the canvas. And that'll get written into the document over here, the canvas over here. You can get rid of the final note. I'll just delete that. Summary, Don't really need if this is just for me, right? I'll probably post this guide up in the school communities. I'll tune it up, make it nice just for others. Whoever wants to use this guide for scraping leads to store in Airtable, you can do so once I tune it up. So for Airtable, this is a fine setup for the information for each lead. I can get in there and do some cool stuff with Airtable just as we go. HTTP request to get leads. That looks pretty good using Amplify or something else we can use to actually do the scraping. We can split them out, add them into Airtable, check for new leads, and add the new leads in there. Cool, error handling, that looks fine. So we'll just have to get in and start building it. If you are new to N8N, this is where you would keep going and say, I don't know what this means. You can just copy and paste this section in here and say, I don't know what this is. Can you walk me through this step by step and build that into the guide? So you can actually build out a really comprehensive build guide that will take you through everything from scratch, building an entire automation just using ChatGPT first and getting it all set up ready for you to tackle. But I think for me, that's probably pretty good there. So we'll just say, is this the highest level guide we can make? Is there more to add? Can I hand this guide to a beginner and have them build the automation from scratch? That's the line you should use often if you are learning this stuff. Can I, as a beginner, read this and build this automation from scratch? You should just build that into your prompts. Can I learn this from scratch? Can I do this from scratch? I'm a beginner. Write this as if I am 10 years old and walk me through that. Those kind of lines when you're prompting as a beginner will take you 90% of the way through probably everything. The other 10% is actually building it. Cool, so I'll send that one off. We'll get a couple more edits in here. Cool, we got the answer in the canvas itself. So I'll just say, I want you to write the full guide in the canvas. There we go. Cool, that is great. Let's create another PDF. So I'm gonna copy this, come back into Google Docs. Let's create a new doc, download that, and we are good to start this automation build. This is going to be the first step here. So I'm just going to open up a new project, but I think this is a good stopping point for this first video, getting the build guide complete, getting a starting point, getting your head wrapped around exactly what you need to be doing, building out your preparation PDFs. That is a great point here. So I'm just going to save a new project. Let's set this up as an entire project name here. Concept to sales automation agency build. Cool. Let's tag this as a demo, tag this for YouTube, and we are good to go next time. Cool, this is fun. I'm already excited to keep going with this, building something from absolute nothing all the way to sales. You guys can follow me with this, seeing the entire process, taking you from zero to hero and actually start making money with AI automation. Guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you want to check out my school community, see what else I got going on, I'll put the link in the description below. Check it out, join the community. I've got lots of templates up in there. I teach one-on-one lessons. There's a lot of coaching and consulting that is just absolutely my favorite thing to do and be a part of. So if you guys want to check it out, please do so. So I look forward to seeing you in the group, and I'll see you in the next